And we're live. And I'm hoping that the technology gods are smiling on me today and that everything will be working. So, welcome. I'm Morgana Creely from 4-Inch Cats, and today I'm going to be looking at ways that you can get the best from my new ebook. I'm not sure if you can see that with the reflection. Carolan's Welcome, 15 Melodies Arranged for Baritone Ukulele or DGBE Tenor Guitar. It is available as a digital download PDF ebook from my website, www.4inchcats.com, or if you're one of the lucky ones, there are, I think, 4 now hard copies left for sale from the Ukulele Project website. A very worthy charity, so check them out. So, here we are. Now, I haven't done this for a very long time, so I'm hoping that it all works. And thank you, Martin. Good to see you. And thank you to let me know that it's all happening. Can I just do a sound check? Are you getting the sound? Yes, no, maybe? Yes, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Nervous much? Okay, just a little. So let me give you a little bit of background on the book. So approximately 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was just kind of noodling on my baritone and suddenly thought, I wonder what a Turlo O'Carolan tune would sound like on baritone. And the next thing you know, I'm into it fully. Now, Turlo O'Carolan was a harpist in Ireland back in the 1800s, blind from the age of 18, who made his living as a harpist, going from manor house to manor house, writing songs for his patrons. He wrote a lot of really, really beautiful music. And in fact, he's considered one of Ireland's national treasures. He is considered the bard of Ireland. And his music is beautiful. And I first came across his music as a harp player. You can see my Irish harps in the background many, many years ago when I played harp. It's very melodic. It's very pretty. Some of it's a little bit sad. And I'm pleased to say it works beautifully on baritone ukulele. So as I said, available as a digital download from my site, or there are a few hard copies from the Ukulele Project site in the UK. So let's get straight into it. Now, when you've got the book, one of the things you'll find, she said, hoping that technology is going to work, fingers crossed, and the magic of technology. Now, for those of you watching, can you just give me a yes or a thumbs up if that's actually showing correctly? Because I was a bit concerned that when I was setting up that it might be backwards. So yes or a thumbs up if this is working correctly. It's back to front. Okay. Well, that's okay, because hopefully, how's that one? Is that one better? Hi, Vicky. Nice to see you. Yay. Excellent. Well, that means when I show you the music, I'll have to fix that one as well. So thank you for bearing with me. So one of the first things I'd like you to have a look at when you get the book is, I know in the introduction section I say the chords are in the middle of the book. They were originally. Now they're at the back, but as long as you can access them, that's fine. So if you look at the chords, you can see that I've given you multiple chord voicings for different chords. So for example, A, you've got, my mouse is sliding. A, you've got your basic one here, but then all of a sudden we have a second chord voicing up. You can see it's in fret 5. So you've got a choice there. again, with the A minor, you've got 3 choices of where you're going to play your A minor. Now, why I've done this is some of the songs, the melodies in the book, travel up and down the fretboard, some of them going up quite high, what we sometimes call the dusty end of the fretboard. And to help you find your way in the fretboard. So, for example, if we look at the second A chord at the top of the page, this one here, even though if you were playing a complement with the chords, you could play the A anywhere, but if you look at the A formation up on the 5th fret, that will help you tell you where to put your fingers on the fretboard. I know this sounds a bit confusing, so let me jump across. My mouse is going a bit crazy to the music, which will be backwards, so I need to fix this. And here I was panicking, thinking it was all not going to work. Reversed it all, and now, all right. Bear with me just a moment, and I will find it the correct way. You don't need to see that. It's the magic of live streaming. That one will probably, no, it doesn't want to work. Please hold. Your call is important to us. I know I have it somewhere. Just give me a second. You know, I tested all this and it all worked in the test. But isn't that just the way? There we go. Nearly there. Ta-da! Okay, so here we have a copy of Shebeg Shemoa. Now, although it's not an alternative chord voicing, if you look at the B minor here, you can see that where the fingers are, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 4th fret, are represented in the chord diagram. So let me see if I can find an example higher up the neck. All right, here's an example here with this G. Now, that's not really high up the neck, but if you see here, our fingerings are 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. That is reflected again in the chord diagram. So it's just another visual aid so that rather than just going, oh, I'm looking at the tabs, and if you're like me, sometimes I get what I call my brain buffers, and I just get this moment of blank before the brain kicks in. Having this diagram means that I've got that visual representation of where I'm aiming to put my fingers, and it just makes it a little bit easier for me to make that jump. Now, this is actually a good screen because here we have this G that's in the frets 3, 4, and 5. If we come down to the next line, you'll find there's your regular G that is just down here. Now, you might think, but the fingering of 0, 0, 0, why does that represent a G? Well, that's because your G note is actually on a string you're not playing, but it's there. But if we come across here, again, that's another G voicing, but it's right up on frets 7 and 8, for which your reaction might be, I don't want to play that high up. You can do it. Trust me, it just takes a little bit of practice. But again, you can look at that chord formation, look down at where the fret notes that you're going to be, and it's going to help you hopefully get to where you need to be. Now, if I just jump back to the chords for a moment. So there's quite a few chords here. The other thing that it's interesting to look at with the chords is actually the chord shapes. So say, for example, we go here to our D first voicing. That's a pretty bog standard D chord. Okay. Now, if we go down to our G right down here, which is up on fret 7, again, not so scary really. Just ignore your first string for a moment and look at strings 2, 3, and 4. And it's basically the same chord shape. So we go back to our D. So here's our chord shape here. We go back to our G. And I'm sorry, that's not the first string, that's the fourth string. I'm looking at it in reverse at my end, but it's the same shape. So it's like, that's really interesting. And all of a sudden, perhaps it's not so hard. Now, we have our D7 here. And if we look at our E minor down here, it's further up the neck, but all of a sudden, there's that same shape. We've just added an extra finger to it. Again, there's our D shape over here in our F. So if you start to go through the chords, you'll start to recognize that the same shapes are popping up again and again. Here's our A shape, 3 fingers in a row. Go down to our G minor, 3 fingers in a row. Okay, they're in a different place, but the shape is there. So that's definitely something that you can look at. Now, the other interesting chord that I wanted to point out is, she said, looking for it. Nope, it's not jumping itself out to me, so I will come back to that one. But again, here's our B minor. You can see the shape there. Come across to our C on the 8th fret. There's that shape. So what I'm saying basically is just look for the shapes. So any questions so far? Nope, you all seem to be following along, which is great. Okay, so let's pop back over to the music. Magic of technology. Now, this bar here, we're still in Shebag Shemore. This is one of the bars that I think people are going to have the most problem with, because all of a sudden you may be up the fretboard in an area that you're not familiar with. Maybe you don't play up that end very often. Again, you look at it and there's a lot of notes in that bar. Do I have to play them, for the whole bar? And it's a run. So we're basically working our way down the fretboard. And I should have had a baritone in front of me, and I don't. So let me just grab one. Hang on a second. I'll just do that so you don't have to look at the back of me while I go and get my bari. Here it is. Okay. And I shall be back momentarily. And here we are, back again. Nope, that's the wrong one. It's that one. Excellent. Okay, so this run, if we play it really slowly. It's actually really pretty, but I can understand why it might be intimidating if you're not used to playing that high up. So what you might like to do is just play one string. So you've gone from 2, whoops. And then over time, as you get used to playing just the one note, then you can add the second. Now this D, that's the chord I was looking for and I couldn't find on the chart. And it's an interesting D, because if you play it, because we're used to playing D down there, but if we play it up here, it's a slightly different formation that I'm still getting used to. Can you hear the difference between that? one of the interesting things about acoustics is that our ear generally hears the highest note. So when we're playing a D here, our highest note is an F sharp. Whereas if we're playing it here, our highest note is a D, which is the actual chord. So to me, that feels more resolved than that. And I'd say definitely practice this version of D because it pops up quite a few times in the book. And I think it's a really pretty one. So our resolution I think works really well. So again, looking back at the run, and again, that A chord is telling us where to put our fingers because really, if we put a finger down here, it's our complete A chord. It's just we don't need that one. It's just the 3 strings. So there you have it. There's some tips and hints on how to get as much, the best that you can, hopefully, from my new book, Oh Carolan's Welcome. Most of the songs I've tried to put on a single page so that you don't have to turn pages. There are a couple of tunes that I've had to put on more than one page just because otherwise there's going to be too swished, and I want it to be easy to read. And some of the tunes are actually quite challenging, so don't be afraid to slow things right down. Now, for example, this song is quite fast. It's meant to be at a lively pace. A lot of recordings over the years, people have recorded it at a much slower pace, and that's completely fine. And if that's still too fast for you, slow it right down. You can't play anything too slow. And again, look at the notes, and if you're finding that playing these multi-note chords is too difficult, try just 2 notes. And again, single line is also fine. Whoops, I get it right. I want this book to give you as much joy as possible. So take what you can from it now, and as time goes and you practice and you play more, then some of the more challenging pieces, hopefully you'll get them under your fingers. And let me just say this, though. Arranging music and learning to play the tunes, is 2 very, very different skills. And I wanted to be as transparent as possible in my videos. So the slow play-along videos that I'm making, I'm actually learning to play the songs for those videos. Because, this is an Instagram live. We watch these wonderful videos of these incredibly talented people playing beautifully and think, I'm never going to sound like that. Well, first of all, who cares? I know you care, but it's all about how much joy the music gives you. It's not necessarily wanting to sound amazing. Yes, we all want to sound amazing, but we do the best that we can, and we keep doing the best that we can, and it gets better. It doesn't necessarily get easier, We just get better at it. So I think that pretty much sums up my Sunday morning live stream. Fortunately, the tech gods have been very kind and it's mostly worked. Apologies for the back to front, but hey, we had that covered. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. I really hope you enjoy the book. I would love to see more people posting videos, playing the tunes, my version, your version, whatever works for you. I already had a good friend of mine say, that's great, but I've actually changed the arrangement slightly so I don't have to play as high up the neck. Great. I really don't mind. It's going to give her joy. She's going to have fun doing it. That is all that counts. Thank you, Vicky, for coming. You are very welcome. Thank you, Martin, for coming. I know Adam is here in spirit, but it was a bit late for him, so he's probably fast asleep, hopefully dreaming of ukuleles. If you're watching this after it's been recorded and you have any questions, please just leave a comment below and I will get to it when I can. And enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you very much. And my mouse isn't working. Yes, it is.